Hi guys, so today I'm going to talk about timing of marriage and how to predict the best time for you to get married or a time when you will naturally get married in your life. So let's take a look at, first of all, what are the signifactors of marriage, first of all. The main signifactors of marriage in astrology is Venus and Jupiter. Okay, these two planets mainly are main signifactors of marriage. Okay, but every horoscope is different. Every astrological chart is different, depending upon your time of birth, date of birth, and place of birth. Okay, and mainly, what really signifies your timing of marriage, or the time where you might meet somebody and get married, is really depending upon your ascendant, your rising sign. So depending on the rising sign, okay, because your rising sign is permanent from the time you're born. However, in astrology, there are transits. Transits meaning every year. 24/7 planets are moving. They're at some sign, some house, somewhere. Okay. So what you want to look at is the transits of planet in the house that actually signifies and gives a green light to a marriage. And those houses are 2, 7, and 11. Okay, why second house, 7th house, and 11th house are known as the houses of marriage? And that is because second house is your family environment, your home. Okay, just like the 4th house. Okay, but second house mainly represents your nurturing environment. Okay, where either this could be your home before marriage and this could be your home after marriage. Okay, so that's number one aspect. Number second is obviously the 7th house. 7th house represents marriage. That represents the legal binding of a man and a woman, or nowadays man and a woman and a woman. So 7th house is very important. Like, you have to look at what planet is ruling the 7th house, what planet is sitting in the 7th house, who's aspecting the 7th house, what sign is rising in the 7th house. And next, which is even far more important than even 7th house, is the 11th house. Why 11th house? 11th house, like I said, it's the house of wealth. However, it's a house of hopes and wishes. All of us have desires in life. I want a Mercedes-Benz, a BMW, I want a mansion, I want the most beautiful looking wife. All these things, that we desire. Those desire, the fulfillment of those desires are controlled by the 11th house, the condition of the 11th house. Okay? So if your hopes and wishes are to get married soon and find your, Prince Charming or your queen, is that wish is going to be fulfilled is just upon the 11th house. So 11th house, is the fulfillment of all your desires. From your marriage to education to your career to money, everything. So how is it that you predict that, okay, this is the best time to get married, or this is when you will get married? Okay, that is the transits. Okay, so planets, so in your birth chart, when you were born, okay, you should look at the planets that are ruling, that are lord of the 2nd, 7th, and 11th house. Okay, so let's say if you're an Aries ascendant, your ruler of the 2nd house is Venus. Ruler of your 7th house is Venus, because Taurus and Libra are ruled by Venus. And then the 11th house is Saturn, which is Aquarius. So for an Aries ascendant, okay, the best timing of marriage would be when Venus and Saturn are transiting through the 2nd, 7th, or 11th house. Okay, so after the age of 18, because that's when they look at this. The judgment of the marriage happens only after the age of 18. Because these planets will be transiting. They could be transiting before the age of 18. That doesn't mean you're going to get married at the age of 18. That's how they judge it. They judge it through after 18. So after 18, if let's say at the age of 25, your Saturn is running in the cycle of Taurus. Okay. So Saturn is in Taurus that particular year. And then you have to judge is when Venus is either in the 2nd house, 7th house, or 11th house. So when these two planets are either one of those houses, that's when a marriage can be triggered. Okay? And let's do another example. let's say, Cancer ascendant. When should a Cancer ascendant get married? The Cancer ascendants are a second house, seventh house, and 11th house are being ruled by Sun, Saturn, and Venus. Because second house for Cancer ascendant is Leo, seventh house is Capricorn, which is ruled by Saturn, and the 11th house is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. So for Cancer ascendant, they're going to have to see when does Sun, Saturn, and Venus come into those transits, come into those houses year by year. So when all three of those planets are aligned in either one of those houses, the Saturn doesn't have to be in Capricorn for that trigger to happen. No, Saturn can be in the second house, Sun can be in the seventh house, or Venus can be in the seventh house or 11th house. So when these three planets come at exactly at that moment, in those transits, that's when a marriage occurs. So this is how you predict a timing of marriage. This is how you're able to see, okay, this person is probably going to get married at the age of 28 because I see the transits coming, or I see the dasha system. Also, you have to judge what dasha. You remember the planetary time period, which if you don't know, you have to check out my website below to understand that. The planetary period, the dasha system, is also main significant factor. So if you're running the dasha of the 7th house or 2nd house or 11th house, that's another important thing, okay? Because in those things, dasha, planetary dasha, you will get married. That will be the major triggering point of your marriage to be happening. So this is how one is able to predict somebody's marriage, okay? If they're going to be getting married or not. And this is, so especially looking at the dasha of your planet. And I know if you are somebody who don't know about Vedic astrology and only know the Western system, I know it's going to be kind of like an alien language, but let me just explain. Dasha is known as a planetary time period. In your life, you are being ruled by a certain planet for a certain period of time. You might be, you might be ruled by Jupiter for your 16 years of your life or 18 years of your life. Then you might be ruled by Saturn for 19 years of your life after that. So there's a cycle that happens, okay? So it's very important to see, first of all, what dasha is going on. So if the person is in the 7th house dasha, or 2nd house dasha, or 11th house dasha, that already tells you, okay, their planetary time period is here. But within this dasha, they will get married. Second is obviously the transits. That, okay, so like a Cancer ascendant, Sun, Saturn, and Venus, if they're in either of these three houses and they're transiting and they come at these three houses at the exact same time. So Sun, let's say, comes in Leo on August 16th, 17th, okay? While at the same time, Saturn is in Taurus in the 11th house. And Venus is in Capricorn. So what's happening is this person getting the perfect alignment to get married. Now, like I told you guys about divorce and how one might not be able to get married because their 7th house is damaged. So you look at that too. So if the 7th house is really damaged, compared, like if there's a malefic planet sitting there at the time of birth, that will also be able to tell you that, okay, is this person really going to get married when this alignment comes? Or is this time period just going to come and pass by? Like they might run into somebody, they will get engaged, but because of their birth chart, they will not be able to, fulfill that engagement into a marriage. So all these things, you have to look at in order to determine somebody's, timing of marriage. But the thing is, for me, it's really easy for me to say this. It's really easy for me to explain this. But I know it's probably alien language for most of you. And this is why if you do learn astrology, if you do want to, learn this, you practice it. You practice on your friends, your family, or just take your coworkers, okay? Take people you don't know and then try to predict from that. And that's how you get better. But anyway, if you want to know more about astrology and how to learn these things, how to actually, predict through the system of actual real ancient astrology, check out my link below and definitely subscribe above because there's more coming soon. Thank you.